What's up, guys? Today is a super exciting day. We are heading into town to pick up our Starlink. Starlink will be our new internet solution. Let's go ahead to catch them.
There it is!
Got our Starlink, baby.
Let's do it!
Let's go test her out. So what is Starlink? Starlink is a product put out by Elon Musk's SpaceX that offers high-speed satellite internet wherever you are. It is currently rolled out in the US, Canada, Mexico, most of Europe, and Australia, with plans to be worldwide. Starlink RV allows you to carry your satellite and connect wherever you travel to. But with a hefty $735 startup cost and $135 monthly cost, you have to wonder, is it worth it? So we've had our Starlink for about 3 weeks now. We've tested it in a couple different spots here in Idaho. We think we have a pretty good feeling of what this is going to do for van life. Let's go take a look at it, then we'll walk you through our opinion on if Starlink and van life are a match made in heaven. Here we are at one of the two pieces that comes with your Starlink set. This is the satellite. So this is what's actually going to be receiving the signal from the SpaceX satellites. This is the biggest piece. So this might be one of the biggest misfortunes or the biggest setbacks of this item, is determining, is this going to be able to fit in your van? Can you justify the space for it? So just to give you a rough idea, it will change how it sits in stow mode, but the dish itself is about 20 inches tall by about a foot wide, and right now on the stand it sits at about 19-20 inches. The leg will actually come out of the stand, and with that being the case, you might be able to find a pretty good spot to put it. Here we have the Starlink router. So this is what's going to create the actual Wi-Fi signal for you in your van. Now this is pretty simple setup. You just have a power cord and then the cord that runs out to the satellite. That's a really long cord, as you saw how far away we were from the van. I don't know for certain, but I believe it's 75 or 100 feet. We can confirm that just above. But when you get it, super simple setup. You plug this into the satellite, you plug your power cord in, and then the one thing that actually isn't listed on the simple instructions that they give you, pull up the Starlink app. Then the Starlink app will start booting this up. It takes anywhere from 15 to 40 minutes, I'd say, to boot up, but you're not actually doing anything. The app's going to do all of it. Then you have your internet connection. We've tried this at about 6 different spots so far here in rural Idaho. So what do we think of it? First, I'm going to walk you through some negatives, then I'll walk you through some positives, then I'll give you my opinion on if it's worth it. First up with the negatives is cost. You're going to have to shell out an upfront cost of about $700 US for the unit, and then you're going to have a reoccurring payment of $135 per month. Now, you can pause this at any time, which is really, really good, but obviously that is a big cost. Number 2 is electrical usage. So if you're going to run this, you're either going to need to be plugged in or have a legitimate electrical setup. It's not a super huge draw, but it's a constant draw. From what I've read, and I don't have a battery monitor on our system yet, I'm still doing the finishing touches on it, but it starts up at about 175 watts for the first few minutes of usage. Then it balances into about 65 to 75 watts for the first hour or two. Then it'll equalize at about 50 to 60 watts running. But again, that is constant. Our next con is the startup time. So when you plug it in, how long does it take to have Wi-Fi? Versus a regular router, if you reboot it, you should be up and running in a couple of minutes. We found that it's really best to give this at least 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, before you really want to start using the Wi-Fi, because in the very beginning when it says it has it, the satellite's still looking for the best place to be sitting, so it'll actually motorize and rotate around, and a lot of times during that time you're going to have a weaker, slower connection. So this isn't the best kind of solution for first pull in, immediately plug something in, have internet right away. You're gonna have to wait, I'd say, to be safe 20 minutes or so before you're gonna have a stable connection. The last con, and this is probably the most talked about con, is a clear area. So you need to be in a relatively clear area for this to work. That means trees and other obstructions are gonna make this run irregular or not at all. And when I say that, it doesn't necessarily just slow down speeds, it actually makes your connection drop, reconnect. So that has been a major downfall for us, but we've only actually run into a problem at one specific site with that. The 5 other sites we've been in with this has been fantastic. With that being said, we've been eyeing up areas where if we're parked in the shade, we can run the cord out to where that is. All right, so next up are the pros. The pros are, when it works, you have internet. It's pretty fantastic. What you have to think about is when you have any sort of cell tower-based internet system, you have to be around a cell tower. For this, you don't have to be near anything, you just can't be too near to full shaded trees or covered tree areas. So speed-wise, we've been getting really good speeds. We've been getting anywhere from 40 down to 140 down, and from 1.5 up to 12 up. So the moment we've all been waiting for, our opinion on is Starlink and Vanlife a match made in heaven? Absolutely, at least for us. Now let me explain. So we found that the #1 stressor of our life in the new van was just finding spots with service. Last year in Montana, it was really difficult, and it limited us of the places that we could get to. With Starlink, as long as you can find a spot that's not covered in trees, you're gonna have internet. So while I ramble on about other things, I noticed that I didn't cover the most important point. There's nothing else like this. This is the only product on the market that gives you fast, unlimited, unthrottled internet truly wherever you are. There's no more searching for cell tower maps, no reading reviews on if there's service at the site. You simply pull up, throw your satellite in a clearing, and have internet. With that being said, this is for us in our scenario. And that's under the idea that we both work virtually and need an internet connection. So if you're not reliant on internet for work, and if you really don't care to have internet, maybe you don't want it. But if you like going to very rural areas that aren't gonna have cell service and want some form of internet, this is fantastic. And when you compare it to the cost of jetpacks and things like that for their monthly charge, if you're using a decent amount of data, this is also a way better solution. There you have it. That's our review on our Starlink system. We are in love with it, and we think it is a match made in heaven for van life. It has allowed us to get to more remote places than we ever have while still having stable internet connection. But we're interested to know what you think. Do you think Starlink's too expensive and not worth it? Do you have Starlink, and what are your experiences with it? Let us know below. Let us know if this was helpful for you. Also, feel free to ask us any questions in the comments below, and we'll be happy to answer. And for more videos like this, and for some van life vlogs, make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video. The love really helps us, guys. Cheers.